Hi, so editing me. I'm so sorry, guys, but as I was editing this video, the first few minutes of it never got into focus. So it's very blurry. So I just went ahead and deleted the footage. Basically, what I was saying is like, comment, subscribe, share if you enjoyed this video and you relate to it, and that this is a very spiritually charged video. I did put a disclaimer at the beginning, basically saying that, if you're one of those people that just don't like when people talk about spiritual stuff, this probably isn't the video for you. If you're one of those people that's like, I hate when people say they talk to the dead or they're spiritual, whatever, that's not real. You guys are just crazy. You need help, or that's evil. That's the devil, or whatever the hell. This is just not going to be the right video for you. I have other get ready with me style videos that you guys can watch with other makeup looks if that's more your speed. But this video I am going to be talking about a lot of spiritual stuff in my experience watching this movie and all the things that I picked up on and everything that I've taken from it. And I am doing the Get Ready With Me after seeing Michael for the first time, but I'm on my way to see it for a second time. And this video isn't just Get Ready With Me, okay, bye. It's kind of a vlog. So I'm doing my makeup, I'm going to see the movie, I'm, having some side quests going on. And then this is me like the next day after seeing the movie and like recording and adding extra footage to it. So strap in. This is going to be a long video. I know you guys like long videos and you guys want to see more content from me. So I did try to make this video as visually interesting as I possibly could. And I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for the rest of the video. I would say that it's also like a clear example of how you don't own your creativity the way that you think you do. Like if you have an idea, is yours, but if you don't act on that idea, then and like the spirit role wants to see that idea come forward, and you don't act, then they're just gonna give it to somebody else who's more receptive to it and isn't gonna procrastinate, isn't gonna like, oh my gosh, this isn't gonna work because, well, this isn't a good time. And, well, I'll just do this later. Like, no, they're gonna like if they really want something to come to pass, they will just give it to somebody else. So if you don't act fast on your inspirations, you don't act fast on your creativity, you don't act fast on anything, and you're just kind of waiting around and you have all these excuses for why this wouldn't work and that wouldn't work and all of that, then you're going to miss out on so many opportunities in life. You're going to miss out on so many connections. I don't think that it's worth it to waste it, because if Michael Jackson was a huge procrastinator, we would not have the extensive discography and like short film collection that he left us with. If Michael had crippling anxiety to the point where he wasn't able to create, then we would miss out on so much, not just from him, but like all the people that have been inspired by him over time. There's so many pop cultural references to him. There's so many modern music that let me move my mic up here real quick. There's so much modern music that wouldn't have the same flair that it has today, because they either sample songs directly from Michael, literally, or there's something about him that they've taken inspiration for, whether we realize it or not. And there's so many people that have taken advantage of the creative energy that Mike has put out and included it in their lives in so many different meaningful and impactful ways. Like, the world literally would not be the same. So he has a song that's saying that you're just another part of me. And how I interpreted that as like, if you see yourself as not an individual spiritually, but as a piece of a giant whole, and you realize that when you have certain experiences in life, that's just you in a different font communicating back to you to teach you certain lessons, I interpreted that as meaning like you think I'm so special, you think I'm so great, but you can be special and great in your own life if you choose to tap into the energy of creativity in the way that he does, in the way that he's inspired the world to do. Vision boards. He loves surrounding himself with pictures of things that he wanted to manifest in his life. He drew a lot. He was very artistic. He like designed the gates of Neverland, RIP Neverland Ranch gates. And like he was just very creative, very tapped in, very like, oh my gosh, like very powerful. Like the fact that people were fainting at his shows wasn't just, I'm so excited to see my favorite celebrity. He just had a very powerful energy that projected out so big and so wide that most people just could not take the energy that he was emitting out. Like, and one of the ways that he was able to tap into that energy is by visualization and like picturing exactly how he wanted his life to be and exactly how he wanted to be seen and exactly how he wanted people to see him. Vision boards are very powerful tools to see the world and envision the things that you want and claim them as yours before they exist in reality. And I think it's a very important thing for a lot of people to do to envision the type of lifestyle that you want. I think it would make the world a lot happier, a lot less miserable, a lot less bitter if you're able to just tap into your full potential. Mirror magic. So when I first heard the song Man in the Mirror, I interpreted it as, you know, everybody's complaining about all these problems in the world and trying to control the actions of other people so bad and are so miserable that other people won't change. But real change starts from within. Like that's how I interpreted the song when I first heard it. But now after watching the movie and seeing that he had affirmations all over his mirror, and he said in various interviews that he would sit in front of the mirror for hours on end and like repeat affirmations and like practice visualizing his life to such an extent. And I think that's a very powerful tool for manifestation. And a lot of people aren't gonna like that because he's Jehovah's Witness. Oh, you're not supposed to be practicing magic as a Jehovah's Witness. That's evil. That's whatever. But magic doesn't mean what you guys think it means. It's not this dark evil thing that you need to be afraid of. Like, of course, there's levels to this, and you shouldn't, get into certain things that you don't really know much about. But he was very intentional in his life's work, very disciplined, and it worked out very well for him because I feel like the image that he projected into his own reflection poured back into him. He was able to embody that energy and go out into the world, and everybody is able to see the way that he wants to be seen. And I think that's very powerful. Another thing that I took from the Michael movie is to know your power. He had so many people in his life actively, deliberately trying to like sabotage him and try to manipulate him and you know try to make it seem like him being independent as an artist would be selfish and anti-family and all of that. And I feel like a lot of abuse that he suffered as a child was spiritual. Like there is a darkness in Joe, and the way that Joe treated those kids kind of set the tone for the rest of his life. Like he's gonna shine bright and do all these things, and the world will never stop trying to humble him. The world will never stop trying to like make it about them and the vision that they want and try to like overwrite what he wants for himself. So I think that one of the messages that I received from the movie is know your power, know your worth. Like when people try to like bring you down, realize that in order for them to try and bring you down, they have to see you as above them first and then want to try and bring you down to their level. level or try and bring you lower than them because that's where they think that you belong, but that's not really true. That is, what I took from that. Another thing I took from that is the sooner that you start tapping into your own power and creating your own vision for your life, the sooner you could live it in the way that you want to. So there isn't as many delays. So time is of the essence, act accordingly. Don't let detractors trick you out of your spot. I feel like in the music industry, everybody loved Mike because he made them so much money and they loved being in control of him. They loved it when he would just sing and dance and entertain people. They feel like that was his place and that's all that he was supposed to be doing. But as soon as he started buying other people's catalogs and he started taking ownership of Sony, that's when all hell broke loose. And he just started getting attack after attack after attack after attack. And he's just like a very sensitive person. And he just could not, take it anymore. He didn't have the ability to properly like protect himself because he's so sweet and giving. I also feel like another part of that message is that, Joe, like, there's a scene in the movie where Michael's saying that he wants to move out, and Joe is like getting in his ear, and he's like, "Oh, so you want to move away from your family and be surrounded by a bunch of yes men and not like any real people? You're just gonna be alone in your mansion and just be surrounded by a bunch of yes men? That's what you want?" Like Joe tried to make it seem like him wanting independence would be like so inconvenient to him. Like, oh my gosh, you do not want this. And it was projection because Joe didn't want Michael to leave the house. Oh, like having control over him. Joe knew the fear that he put into his children, and that even once they were all adults, they still feared him. Later in life, Mike would say, every time Joe comes to visit, I gotta puke. Like, the energy is so corrosive, he literally has to puke. And I've had experiences like that with toxic people in my life where like I cannot physically be around you because you literally make me sick. And you're not about to come over here and make me sick. And I'm not, and I mean that literally, like nausea, headaches, stomach aches, body aches, like literally would make me sick for days on end. And I don't have the time for it, so you gotta go. Editing me again. So I was going down this giant Michael Jackson rabbit hole, like listening to all his music and stuff. And there's so many songs that were like never on the radio, never had music videos, and were like not popular. There was this album called Escape that they released after his death that, we didn't know about until now, I guess. And there's a song called Chicago. So I'm thinking, cool. He made a song about Chicago. I'm from Chicago. Like, what's this gonna be about? Thinking it's gonna be a vibe. And it was. It was cool. So I'm actively listening to the music and I'm not just vibing. And it's like basically about Michael stealing someone's girl accidentally, which fair enough, like if I was alive in the 80s, even if I was married and have kids, if Michael like looked at me, I'd be like, me and my husband aren't that serious. But basically he's just like, oh man, she was lying to you, she was lying to me. I ain't know about no husband, I know no kids. Like, she was loving you and she was loving me. I'm not that kind of guy. I didn't know. And I'm just like, please, Michael, we remember the time, okay? Girl. All right, I'm up already. My goodness. I guess I'll start my day. We all remember the time. We know you are exactly that kind of guy. In fact, I just saw a post saying that John Singleton had his girlfriend on set, and Michael walked up to her on the set of Remember the Time in front of John and was like, "Hey, John, your girlfriend's cute. Can I take her out to a movie?" And before the girl even got to answer, he was immediately like, "No." I would have been like, Michael, pick me up at 8. Another thing that I picked up from the Michael movie, is to learn how to channel the empathy that you have for others back into yourself. Because I feel like Michael had so much love for, humanity, but I don't feel like he channeled that into himself as much as he should have because the programming of his childhood just ran deep. For example, what can happen when you don't properly energetically protect yourself and and everything because the way that his death happened, allegedly he was on the lie, but not allegedly, but I'm just saying allegedly for legal reasons and whatnot. But yeah, like learn to channel that energy back into yourself and not so much other people all the time because you deserve the empathy that you give to other people. I also felt like Michael probably would have gotten further in life a lot faster if he had left the house sooner because that whole like victory tour Pepsi commercial thing could have been completely avoided if Joe wasn't trying to force Michael to like stay with the Jacksons so that his brothers could have a career. And it's like these are the same brothers that literally would not play a game of Twister with him. Like just looked at him like he's just this annoying younger brother type thing. Like they didn't really want anything to do with Michael. They just wanted to use him for his fortune and fame to maintain their lifestyle. Okay, surrounding yourself with successful and engaging people is really important. Whatever it is you want to do in life, you really want to find ways to surround yourself with the people that are actively doing it and the people that are actively supporting those roles. Like Michael was placed around these people from a young age, and those people poured into his creativity, his music, his aspirations because they truly believed in him and his talent and his potential, and they wanted to harness that. They wanted to feed into that because they knew that they would benefit from it as well. So whatever it is you want to do in life, it's very important that you surround yourself with people that are A, actively doing it, and B, people that are like the supporting roles of that area. Like if you want to be a fashion designer, you can't just consume a bunch of fashion design content and hope for the best. Like you need to get in the world where you're surrounded by the photographers, the makeup artists, the hairstylists, the posing coaches, like the art directors, and everybody that supports the role of a fashion designer to really make things come to life in the way that you truly envision. Because that's one of the reasons why he was so successful, not just based on talent, but who he was surrounded by is just really important and really counts. I would say that so many of us surround ourselves with losers. It's miserable when we could be experiencing the complete opposite. You are who you surround yourself with. You will inherit those traits. You will start to accept their reality as your reality, and you will lose yourself if you are not careful. So you really have to be in tune with who you are, in tune with who you want to be, and kind of take things and go from there. It's so important to get away from toxic people, no matter how bad it might upset them, so that you can truly thrive in life. And you're gonna have people in your ear trying to convince you that your independence is a bad idea, that you pursuing certain careers and interests is a bad idea. They're gonna try and plant seeds of doubt into you. And if you are not surrounded by people that are already doing those things and all the supporting roles that come with it, you might believe that shit too. And you don't have to. Don't let others steal your joy. Unfortunately, the brighter you shine as a person, the more hate you'll receive, the more humiliation rituals you'll have to go through, the more people are gonna like do things to try and humble you. And then the crazy part of it is that if you were to ask these people why they act like that, they don't even have an excuse. They don't have a reason. They just are like, okay, well that happened. What do you want me to do about it now? Like they don't have any remorse or anything. Like they don't care. So like you gotta like internally care for yourself before trying to like convince other people to do it. The brighter you shine, the more people are gonna try and help you. Like the more people are gonna try and humiliate you, the more people are gonna try and embarrass you, they're gonna try and make you look and sound stupid to make themselves feel better. Like, jealousy is not a logical disease. You don't have to have anything for people to be jealous of you. Now, of course, Michael has everything, but that's what we talking about in life. Jealousy is just truly a dangerous um thing to experience. Don't wait for inspiration to work. You can choose to channel and tap into the spirit of creativity on your own and open yourself up to those frequencies to channel in your own way. If you sit around just waiting for inspiration to come and only act when you're inspired directly by something, you're gonna miss out on a lot of creative potential. And again, like, your ideas might just go to somebody else if you don't act fast on them. So it's important to keep that line open of connection and communication so that you can stay in your true creative power the way that it's supposed to be. I would say another thing that I've kind of picked up on is like, yes, the world can be a terrible place with terrible people in it, and terrible things are constantly happening on like the daily basis. But like, you can focus on ways that we can come together as a humanity and as a way, like, just like focus on things that we have in common rather than our differences, because music and dance has the power to like unite the world, and that's one of the reasons why he's so influential. Like, literally majority of the world's population is a fan of Michael. People in remote villages, people that live in deserts, know who the fuck Michael is. Like, people without TVs, people without radios, people without, modern technology that we have today or what was available 20, 30 years ago, they know who Michael is. Like, they may not know anybody else, but they know Mike because Mike knew who he was and he was able to project that image out into the world to let you guys know what it is. Like, it's really important to just have a nice, steady communication, and like, it's important to have a nice, steady, open line of communication with yourself and be very intentional with your life, be very intentional with your goals, and the vision that you want to see come forward. Like, it's important. So I feel like because that's the way he lived his life, that's how a lot of people saw him, and the intentions he put out there for the vision that he wanted to create worked because he did that inner work. So I would say inner work is very important, and his life serves as a master class on the importance of it. Creativity is a gift. We use it wisely. Do not take your creativity for advantage. Like, don't take it for granted. Don't assume that it'll always just be there, because if it's like a muscle, use it or lose it. And the more you use it, the more it'll just manifest more and more into your life. Like, there's power in being creative, and being creative isn't limited to just arts, crafts, music, but creativity is very essential to life. Life is all about creative energy. Life is always creating. There's always seeds being planted, there's always things growing, there's always new life being created, there's always like new projects happening, there's always all these ideas sparking constantly. So like, you could constantly be in flow of that. The more that we tap into our creativity, the more that we tap into our inspirations, the more that we're able to open ourselves up to creative energy, creative potential, and be able to go from there. Like, you really just gotta tap in. And the more you tap in, the more you tune in, the more you're gonna have come your way. There's so many people that's like, I have art block. Oh my gosh, I can do like one thing every once in a while and then I can't because I don't have the inspiration, I don't have the motivation, this and that. You can just tap into that energy whenever you want and you don't have to wait for it. And you can choose to act on it when it does come so that you're constantly in a flow of receiving creativity and abundance and put it out there. Like it's a cycle. We gotta feed into it to keep it going. The more we have confidence in ourselves, the more other people are gonna have confidence in us. And then we're gonna become even more confident in ourselves because those other people have confidence in us. But other people aren't gonna be able to feel confident in you if you don't have it for yourself first. Act now. When inspiration strikes, act now. Like, you need to be acting on your ideas like yesterday. You were not given that creativity, that inspiration, that drive for no reason. It's meant to be used. It's meant to put out into the world for other people to receive. It's meant to be there. So don't take advantage of that, use it. If you're going to do something, do it and do it all the way. Not kind of sort of, not half ass, not a oh, I'll kind of sort of like no, if you're gonna do something, then do it. Like Michael, when he would sing, and you could like feel the energy of what he's putting out there. When he would dance, he wouldn't just be dancing, he would allow the energy of the music to flow through him and channel into it and just live in the music. Like when he said that he's a slave to the rhythm, he was not exaggerating. Like you gotta be a slave to the rhythm of your life if you want to have good things. And especially if you're a creative person, like you gotta be a slave to the rhythm of life and like really stay in that, you know, potential in order to achieve good things in life. Because, if you have a traditional career, then a lot of those things have already been planted out for you. You go to school, you get your degree, you graduate top of your class, you do an internship, you get your first job, and then you climb your way up the corporate ladder and you're doing all these hazing rituals to prove yourself to people. You're engaging in all these social dynamics. You're allowing people to disrespect you to prove how good of a worker you are, how talented you are, and everything. But when you're creative, that's not clearly laid out. There's so many people that are constantly like searching how to be a full-time artist, how to be a successful painter, how to be a professional dancer, how to be a professional singer. And that path is not clearly laid out for them in the way that we would hope. It is like you're gonna get varying advice. So like that's like what I've been taking from it. Whatever it is that you're gonna do in life, be it, become it, become one with that thing. Don't just do it, be it. He was music. He was the song. He was the voice. None of those things would be possible without him. Like you have to be one with who you want to be in order to become it and see it come through in the physical. Decide who you want to be and design a world around it. Build it, become it, create it, and watch it all unfold around you. And you'll be amazed at how much you can just have the world. The stereotype of being a tortured artist is very real. When you're a creative person and you have bright lights, you're gonna suffer a lot in childhood, you're gonna suffer a lot in adulthood, and you're never gonna feel like you have a place in this world. Even when you find community, even when you make friends, even when you find people that accept you and appreciate you for your work and pour into you in positive ways, you're going to be affected a lot by the trauma of everything that you've been through and everything that you're constantly going through. So it's very important that you realize that you're experiencing some of those things because of the bright light that you're emitting out into the world. And the world is quite literally trying to humble you and really make you fight for what you want in life in order to really bring it through. And it's up to you to see through the smoke and mirrors. It's up to you to see through the projections that other people try and put on you. It's up to you to like see the real message beneath all of that. I think that this movie serves as a perfect example of that because Michael wasn't the allegations. He wasn't the child abuse that he experienced. He wasn't all these accusations of people trying to paint him as like this weirdo. He wasn't scary. He wasn't ugly. He wasn't any of these things that the media tried to project onto us to shape a vision around him. He was who he was, true in of essence. A lot of people complain that the movie was sanitized and how he didn't really go deep because he didn't get into the abuse, he didn't get into the allegations. It was like, we know he was abused, and we know that how those allegations played out if we were around to see it in real time. We know the media did not like him. We know they tried to like get us to see him as ugly, and it's like that's like quite literally one of the most beautiful people I've ever laid eyes on. Like they would Photoshop him and try to make him look ugly, and it's like all he does is sing and dance and try and bring people together. And you guys do all this to try and turn him down because his light disturbs you that much. And what's crazy is that like there will be independent media sources that don't need the funding of larger businesses that own them and would have the creative freedom to not do certain things and would still choose the lower vibrational option when it came to interactions with him. He said several times, I have feelings. This hurts my feelings. I don't like when you guys make fun of me. This is not nice. And you guys still continue to do it. It's like he was acquitted of all those damn allegations. He's told you guys several times that he does not hate being black. He got a nose job because he didn't want to see Joe Jackson when he looked in the mirror. And you know what? If your number one abuser is someone that co-created you and you see their features on your face, you are gonna wanna like do something to it to like create it in your own vision. And he did develop, plastic surgery blindness at one point, but it was still beautiful. Like you will never convince me that Michael Jackson is ugly on the inside or the out. Like I will not be believing those lies. Channel your emotions into something creative and get it out of your system, especially if it's like a negative emotion. If you have the experience of when something gets you down, you suffer for days or weeks on end. Like you're sick, you're in bed, you're just going through the motions, you can't do anything, even though you gotta work, your body won't let you fucking move, even though your life depends on it. You gotta go to school, your body will not let you move. Your body will physically block you from being able to eat and drink water and probably take care of yourself. Like if you suffered heavy emotional damage like that, you need to learn how to express those emotions in a positive and creative way and so that you're not this bitter, miserable person to everybody else. Get out of your system. You don't have to hold that in. Holding space for lots of negativity in your body literally can lead to autoimmune diseases. And Michael had several. Parental abuse will cause a lot of self hate and insecurities that are so deeply rooted that you could be 50 and still be affected by something that happened to you when you're 5. Like it goes deep. It's very important that if you have kids, that you are intentional about how you raise them and make sure to not abuse them and all these different ways because that does not end in childhood. That is lifelong scars that you can't even begin to fathom how it'll work out. You know what? Now they think about it, everybody tries to convince us that Michael Jackson hated himself. He was bleaching his skin. That's why he's white. That's why he's this. That's why he's that. Michael Jackson never looked bleached to me. Have you seen a bleached, dark skinned black person? They look like one of Roger's alters from Family Guy. Like they look gray. And like you can still see the darkness on their knuckles and like their elbows like are still dark. Like people who bleach their skin are delusional. They don't look light skinned. Like I'm an artist and I painted people and Michael has so many fleshy undertones that do not match up with a person that is bleached. People who bleach their skin, they don't have undertones. Like they have mid tones and like they just be looking ashy, dusty, anemic. Like it'll be like if I put on some really crappy white paint that was very translucent and dusty and didn't fully cover my skin and I diluted myself into thinking that you guys perceive me as light skinned. Like that is how bleached black people look to me, and he did not look bleached. Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that he did not look bleached to me. Okay? Like, that's another lie that I feel like needs to be debunked. Okay? I really love how the movie just focused on him, his story, his journey. We don't need to see the actor that's playing Michael get abused by Joe, even though it's for a movie and it's fake. No, we want to see him dance and sing and be in joy and like interacting with fans and putting on shows and in rehearsal and all these things. Like we don't want to see him be abused, and we don't care for the allegations because they're fake. They're not real. It is projection by the media. The people that are telling us that Michael was a PDF file, they're in the E files. They're on TV telling us, well, even if that stuff was true, that was years ago. And when they were kids, they're adults now. Like, they're still platforming abusers. They're still, doing all those things. I feel like if he was one, they wouldn't have hated him. They would have bonded with him. In fact, JE is what we're going to call him. The guy that Palm Beach Pete looks like. He actually hated Michael because Michael would intercept those kids going to the island and just bring them to Neverland to play. Like there's a lot of things that go deep. There's a video of Michael's security guard saying that he doesn't want to go see the movie because in his final days his family didn't come to see him and they weren't there. But Janet Jackson has gone on the record saying multiple times that like in his final days they were kept from Michael. There was security outside of his home actively preventing his own family from going to see him. They would not let the family even call him. Like they took the phones away from Michael. Like he was able to get out one last call, like saying, "Hey, they're gonna unalive me today," and that was the end of his story. So, like, there's a lot going on. He's a very mysterious person. I would say that after seeing the movie, I felt very spiritually sensitive to him. And I've been listening to his music every day. I've been watching all his music videos. I've been like going on a deep dive of all this lore. I've been watching all his interviews. I have just become completely obsessed. And I feel sad because it's like I'm mourning him as a human, not just as an entertainer. But I really feel like we lost out big when he was taken from us. But at the time, our world did not deserve him. The way the media treated him, the way fans turned their backs on him, didn't deserve him. Like we just were not energetically aligned with his energy. He was ahead of his time. I am grateful that he has joined my spirit team because it's huge. I don't share too much about my spiritual journey because it's very personal to me, but every time I go to a psychic and I get a reading, it doesn't matter if they're a tarot reader, a medium, clairaudient, clairsentient, they're all just like, whoa, your spirit team is huge. Like what do you do? And yeah, so that is what I took from the Michael movie. I'm about to go see it again. Consistent makeup. I'm gonna try and take pictures of it. I put my hair in rollers, and I'm really hoping that it turns out well because it's like me trying to mimic his style without a jerry curl and trying to get those bigger curls like how he had. And I'm really hoping this turns out well and it's not ugly. So I'm gonna take my hair down and I'm gonna come back.
Alright, guys, I'm outside. This is how my hair was looking. My roller set did not dry all the way, so half of this is like curls from the rollers, and the other parts are like just how my hair dried. But a lot of it is still pretty wet. I did my edges hard and crunchy today to like mimic how Michael did his edges. I'm in a cafe just getting like a vegan sandwich before I go, and I have like a kombucha. There was nobody in this cafe, so I wasn't worried about like recording people or making anybody uncomfortable or anything like that. But this is how I look. I put a bunch of like edge control and flaxseed jelly in my hair So I hope you guys enjoy this look. I think I look cute. I got a lot of hate today, to be honest with you. But what's new when you're black and alternative and like existing in the world? All right, so we just got done eating and now we are heading to the movie. I really didn't want to be late like I was last time. I really wanted to see the movie in its fullness, so I wanted to make sure I got some food before I left because as a vegan, my options are limited. POV, you're black and you're vegan. Me eating my post gym protein snack in peace when I did pre-order some tater tots, but it was good. I loved it. I'm gonna show you guys me walking around the movie theater in a minute and just show you guys what it looked like getting here. Recording near the movie theater and like in a corner after the fact wasn't a problem, but walking around afterwards was. Hi, so I just wanted to clarify that me walking around the theater was not a problem. Like, I am not near anyone, there's nobody in this space. I really do try and be intentional when I'm recording out in public because I don't want other people to feel watched or recorded or anything. I just want to, create my content in peace or whatever. Recording around the theater was no problem, but I was walking out of the theater, literally about to go home, and I felt myself being watched. So I followed the direction in which I felt myself being watched, and I turn around, and it's one of the security guards. And then she starts following me. So I'm like, I'm gonna try something to see if she's following me for real. So I stop into a store to see if she followed me in the store. She did not follow me into the store. But I did notice her like standing outside of the store, like across the mall or whatever, like literally watching me in the store because it was like glass windows. I asked the people in Iridium if it's okay to record before I record it. And I introduced myself. I let the manager talk to me about everything here. And basically, she was telling me that this store supports a lot of local designers in Chicago. They have lots of collections. There's lots of original designs here from Iridium brand, but like each section that's on a rack like has a story. The designers have a story. She's saying that, she feels like the fashion industry is full of people just making stuff just to make stuff because it's cheap, because it's profitable, and they just want to put stuff out there just to put stuff out there. But she really loves how every designer has their own intention behind creating and actually cares about putting out quality stuff.
Hey kids, you want a quick CPR tutorial? Let's get started. So, this is Annie. Class, say hi to Annie.
Hi,
All
Annie.
right, cool. So, first, you're going to do compressions, and then you're going to yell, Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Annie, tell us, are you okay? And if Annie doesn't tell you that she's okay, stop the compressions immediately and call 911. But not for her, for you, because you're talking to a dummy.
So, for all intents and purposes, this is a joke based on the Stone Smooth criminal because Michael kept saying, Annie, are you okay? And Annie in question is literally the CPR dummy. Do not try this at home.
And when I say good fish and nobody knows what I'm talking about,
get your bottom to the house. Get your buttocks to the house. Get your waist. Get your waist. Good fish! That's a good fish right there. That one right there. Look at her titties. Her titties.
and when I say, hello, Gabby, this is Applehead, and nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Gabby! It's Applehead. I was wondering maybe sometime tomorrow night we could see a movie. Be really nice. So I'll call you tomorrow. I'll sleep in tomorrow and then we maybe can do something. Thank you! Goodbye.
For shame.
Hey, so do you mind if I put on some white noise real quick to help me get my mind ready for bed? Yeah, sure, put something on.
Beautiful, you're wonderful, incredible, I love you so.
And for those of you who get mad when people speak up about spiritual things, have you tried asking your doctor if I'm mad about it is right for you? Because I highly recommend. Not to be dramatic, but I thoroughly believe that the Michael Jackson movie is like contributing to people's spiritual awakening. And that's why the new Netflix documentary is coming out to shame and slander his name. So let me tell you guys a little something about being different. I know a lot about it. So here's the thing. When you are a creative person and you have a light and it shines bright, it will trigger the darkness in others. They will take your existence as a personal attack on them. And therefore, they're acting in self defense. They view your existence as an attack. So it's like you slept in or you called their mama home. So they're attacking. You protect your energy, you keep creating, and you don't let it phase you. That energy gets reflected back to them. And instead of them self reflecting and realize that it's a them problem, they take that as another attack. So now they know they can't get to you and stop you from doing your thing. They have to change the narrative around you and get everyone around you to turn on you. And if they allegedly unalive you to try and stop your creative potential, and then nearly 20 years later, you see a resurgence and you're still number one and no one would ever top you. And that's like giving you a lot of spiritual power. That's why they're flipping the narrative. That's why they're like, hey, remember those allegations? Like, oh, you guys are enjoying the Michael movie? You guys are buying tickets? You guys are going to see it 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times? You guys are having a spiritual awakening? You guys are talking about how magical he was? You guys are talking about affirmations and magic and how to make your lives better? We can't have that. We need to make this about us again. And we need to control this narrative. We can't allow him to be powerful. Like, they can unalive the body, but they can't unalive the soul, the spirit, the very essence of who he was. So, this is a last ditch effort to try and put a stop to what has already started to come and flow. That is how I am interpreting the situation. Another reason why I know this man was innocent is pay attention to the stark difference between how the media treated him for 10 years
for a trial that should have never even went to trial because there was no evidence. Like, nobody has had a 10-year trial for SA allegations. Like, most SAers get like 6 months in prison, if even that. And half the time they still get off early due to good behavior. And their reputation does not get tarnished to this extent. Even if you didn't watch the news, even if you didn't read the tabloids, you still had some type of negative media influence about Michael Jackson. You could be watching a stand-up comedy special. You could be watching South Park. You could be watching The Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad, anything. And they will always find a way to point out like the allegations, make jokes about it, make light about it to try and taint his image. So, and like try and like make us think that this man was ugly. Like they would Photoshop his pictures and distort his image to try and make us think that he's this big ugly monster. Okay. Now his brother Jermaine just got sued for $6 million for an SA allegation from the 80s because he didn't show up in court. Is he going to have a 10-year trial? Is the FBI going to raid his home? Are they going to take pictures of him naked and make him strip down and like make fun of his body to analyze his private parts and compare it to the description of the victims? If he is due in court, did anybody threaten him with any arrest? Because Michael fell in the shower, went to the emergency room. The judge sent an order saying, if you don't get in this courtroom within a certain amount of time today, you're under arrest. They had to rip the IV out of his arm and drag him to court. And the media is like making fun of him for wearing pajamas because he just had to throw something on real quick. And they tried to make it seem like him walking slow was like him on drugs or being disrespectful to the court or whatever. Like, Jermaine is not going to get the same treatment in the media as Michael. Most people are going to forget about this headline in a week and something else will take over. You're not going to see stand-up comedians make fun of Jermaine. You're not going to see references to this case in your favorite shows, cartoons, stand-up comedies, references in music, or anything like that. Like, it'll just be like a striking headline for a minute, and then everybody will forget. Jermaine is on tour right now. He's on tour for the Michael movie. He's on tour with Jackson 5. Like, he's just living his life. He's not in jail. Look at Tiffany Haddish. We all saw that weird video of her and those kids. She's on the cover of Sports Illustrated right now, being praised. They love predators in Hollywood, and they don't shame them enough. And a lot of people behind the scenes trying to point the finger at Michael, they're in the JE files. Speaking of that, man, when I was filming content today, I almost dropped out of my skin. I literally saw an old white man that looked just like him, and it was a jump scare in real life. Like, I was walking, and I guess he looked at me because I have a tripod, and that drags attention, along with, just like how I look or whatever. And like, he turned to look at me, he stared at me, and I stared at him. I was literally like literally jumped at him because why do you look like that man? Like, I'm sorry to this man, but like, why do you look like that one?
Of all of the people you look like, why you look like that one? Like, oh my gosh. I felt like I was in danger seeing that man today. But yeah, like that's how I know he's innocent because like of the stark difference between how the media treated him and still tries to taint his image to this day. Like I'm telling you, I've been on TikTok, I've been on Instagram, and I've been noticing specifically on TikTok, people who aren't even spiritual, like people across like all different religious backgrounds and stuff are saying that they are having a spiritual awakening due to this movie. Like people who are Muslim, Christian, Jewish, atheists are having a spiritual awakening due to this movie. Despite the critics, despite the bad reviews, he's still like number one in movies and number one in music. He went viral before the internet existed. He went viral before Google existed. Do you know that people in remote villages, they don't have phones, they don't have TV, radio, any modern technology, and they know who this man is? There are people who literally live in deserts and have little to no contact with the outside world, and they know who this man is. I was on TikTok earlier, and someone in the comments were like, my parents mourned his death for weeks. They're both deaf. Deaf people are mourning Michael. And I know there's levels to being deaf. Like, it's not always complete no hearing at all. Like, it's just, like you can have limited hearing, or maybe you only pick up on certain sounds. Like, sometimes people are labeled as deaf, but like, it's a spectrum. Like, maybe they only pick up on high sounds or low sounds or whatever. But like deaf people go to music concerts and they can feel the vibrations of the music. And they have mourned the death of this man. That's how powerful he is. So yeah, I just feel like his life serves as a masterclass for, you know, how the world will really try to turn on you and turn others on you when you are that powerful creatively. I watched that movie and I've been incorporating a lot of the manifestation techniques that Michael has done on in addition to stuff that I already do. There is post-it notes with affirmations on the mirror I'm looking at you guys at right now. I've been saying my affirmations in the mirror almost every day. I've been channeling creative energy using water the way that he does. I've had deeper connections with my spirit guides in my spirit team that I've never had before. Like I used to just pick up on like feelings and just intuition from my guides. But now I'm having like full on like conversations and stuff when I meditate and I, go into, the astral world or whatever. My dreams have been more vibrant. When I visualize things that I want to attract in my life, the images are more vibrant after just a few minutes of listening to Michael Jackson. I've rediscovered my love of dance and like belly dance. I have not belly danced in over a freaking decade. And I used to do it all the time. But listening to Michael just makes you want to move. Like, there are people that have not gone to the gym in years and they're on TikTok dancing to Michael right now. And they're hitting all of the moves despite not being a trained dancer. Like, I will never cease to be amazed by this man. And I would never believe anybody when they say that somebody is this generation's Michael Jackson. No, the fuck they aren't. Not Beyonce, you know, she's very talented. Not Taylor Swift, not Justin Bieber, not Drake, not anybody else. Like, people are listening to music that he put out when he was a kid in like the 60s and 70s. And it's literally timeless. People are like, oh my gosh, I don't know what they put in that movie, but I've never felt like this before. I've watched many biopics before, and I've never felt this strongly connected to the person that I'm watching. I've never watched a biopic of like a singer or something and gone and streamed their music and become literally obsessed with them. I haven't gone to see movies back to back and want to go see a movie so much since Sinners. And before Sinners, I never went to the movie theater more than once to go see something. Like, I saw it twice at this point, and I'm probably gonna go see it for a third time while it's still out. Since this movie came out, I watched Moonwalker. I've started The American Dream. Which, side note, I know that it was a different time back then, but the dynamic they had is so low vibrational, and it was getting on my nerves real bad. I was yelling at the TV when I was watching American Dream, even though I've seen this movie, I've seen this show multiple times because it was always on TV. But now that I'm an adult, I'm like, what do you mean you guys aren't gonna use birth control? Because Ike, not Ike, Joe, what's his name? Joe Ike, same energy. Because Joe doesn't believe in birth control. Like, you don't believe in birth control today. But hey, if they use birth control, we wouldn't have Michael. So shout out to them for not believing in birth control. So you wouldn't have Michael, you wouldn't have Janet, or any other talented people that the Jackson family has produced, or anybody else who maybe isn't in the spotlight but still deserve to be here. Yeah, like 10 kids? Oh my gosh. I don't even know if they had epidurals back then. That's insane. I feel like Joe Jackson had slave owner energy. Like, I'm sorry, he has slave owner energy. No offense to the actors that's ever played Joe Jackson, but I definitely feel it is a bit colorist to only cast dark skinned men to play Joe Jackson when he was literally so evil. Because they love to try and paint dark skin as bad and light skin as good. Like, that point is not lost on me. I do think that Coleman Domingo did a good job at emoting the fear into the screen without having to be as violent as Joe was. The abuse that we have seen portrayed on screen in any Michael Jackson show, movie, or interview, however bad you think that it was worse. I just saw an interview of either Latoya or, you know, someone saying that he used to strip them naked, cover them in oil, and beat them with extension cords. And the beatings went on for like hours. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy watching American Dream and seeing how different their lives were in like the 1930s and 40s versus now, because Katherine Jackson is still alive. She's 95 years old. And I can only imagine, you know, her grief for the loss of not only Michael, but, so many of her kids have passed. And to be alive for nearly a century and to give birth to the greatest artist in the world, like, I couldn't imagine what that feels like. I personally don't want any children, but I just can't help but feel like if we're grieving him so much as fans, people who have never been fans before, like me, and people who haven't even been born yet around the time when he was alive, like kids are mourning him after seeing the movie, I can only imagine how much pain his family is suffering through. And my heart goes out to them in their loss because they're the ones who's really impacted by it. I feel like nobody really got to know him as a person. We never truly saw him as a human. We saw him as an entertainer. We saw him as a spectacle. We saw him as a celebrity. The only people I'm jealous of are the people who got to see him live in concert and feel that energy. Like, he's so, well, that just happened. Anyway, so like he's so energetically powerful and spiritual that like we're still feeling that energy today. Like, you're able to pick up on some of that powerful energy just by going to watch the recent movie that just came out. It is a very spiritually charged. And the people who are critiquing it and saying that, oh my gosh, it's just a cash grab for the family. Who else is supposed to financially profit off of him other than his family? Sony? You? Like, that makes no sense to me. So, if you haven't seen this movie, go see it while it's still out. Don't wait for it to get on streaming. Like, you need to have this experience in life. Like, this is a theater experience. I only go out to see the movie maybe like once or twice a year. Like the year before last, it was Barbie. I saw Barbie once. And then last year, I went to go see Swimmers twice. But I didn't go by myself. I went with my sister the first time, then went my partner the second time. And then Michael, I went to go see with my partner the first time. And then yesterday, I went to go see him again. And I'm like, damn, I actually want to do that again this weekend. Like, should I ask a friend to come with me or should I go by myself again? Like I just want to keep seeing it over and over and over again. The first time I saw it, I kind of missed the first few minutes. And then the second time I saw it, I was like, oh, they did include certain things. I just missed it. But yeah. I know a lot of people complain about it being watered down, but we don't need to see the details of his abuse to the true extent that Joe terrorized some kids. And we don't need the allegations included. First of all, that movie ended in like 1988, and those allegations didn't start until the 90s. I'm glad they weren't in this movie, and I hope they're not in the next one. Like, we should be more focused on him as a person and how creative he was and his influence on the world than all of this negativity that they try to throw at him to bring him down. If you listen to his music, he's out the industry a lot and he puts little nuggets in his songs in the middle of all the entertainment to like uplift people. Like, if you listen to Smooth Criminal, He's not just beatboxing and calling people vegetables. Like he's just like, I believe in me, you believe in you. So that's pretty much what I got from this movie. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I tried to do skits. I tried to do transitions. I tried to like add extra stuff in here to like make it more entertaining and like improve the quality of my videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you guys so much for getting ready with me today. This is the final look. I got bullied for my outfit today, but I think Michael would tell me that good fish. Am I a good fish today, Michael? Okay, bye. Thank you guys so much for watching.